new or original is basically like saying nothing is ever going to be original. It's just impossible. We can only derive from things that exist and make them new. That's pretty much everything. Like, look at evolution. You know, we didn't just start as humans, you know, we're kind of a mix of everything because we had to get to a certain point to get here. So, I mean, that would be my answer to that.
So it looks like we're 10 minutes in and you've already won the panel, Ellie. That was a great answer. I'm stealing. I'm going to steal that one. So that, I believe Jim is the last one to answer our literary critic here.
Well, I think it's a strange beast because in my fantasy I try to do original creatures. I don't want dragons. I don't want elves. I don't want trolls. Mm-hmm. Not because they're bad, but because I want to stretch my wings on that, as it were. But on the horror side, I almost always work with things that have already existed and change them around. I think turning the legend on its ear is an entirely different beast than creating an all-new monster. I don't think either is stronger or weaker than the other. They're different. And both have their strengths and their flaws.
I've always loved the basically the wired walkie-talkie concept of the telefax too, because this is probably one of the earliest instances of somebody looking at the ways technology was opening up the possibilities of storytelling and saying, like, you know, I mean, we watched countless TV shows and movies, including the X-Files and Buffy and a whole bunch of other things, have to figure out ways to get people's cell phones out of their hands so that the episode could continue. Yeah. And this is one of the earliest, best instances of what if we get the technology into somebody's hands, and that's what allows the story to start.
Yeah.
I agree. Just like you said, Michael, at the beginning here, that you love fiction, you know, or horror that blends with the connection of sci-fi and horror and technology and the unknown. And that this is a perfect example of that. That just imagine if you are in 1920 and you've got, you know, this still, you know, even though it's more domesticated or it's more commonplace for telephones and telephone technology and that kind of thing, it still was not perfected and nothing, you know. So to be able to say, well, how, as an author, as a creator, how can I take this and put it into action? Like what would you know, pioneers, trailblazers in the occult do with that, that then when someone reading it can say, oh man, I just pick up the phone, you know, when I need to talk to somebody, and to have that. And then I said the portable kind of telephone radio kind of, you know, system like that. Yeah. It's, I think to me, those are the best, just like Jules Verne and, you know, others. That's H.G. Wells, you know, whatnot. That why they last so long, why they still hold, because we can relate to those things that are really scary and not truly all tested. And what are the limits? How can we be using this technology now for?
Some you get 2, some you get 20. It just depends on the publisher. But they also most publishers allow you to purchase at cost as well. So for people like me and in Blue too, we do a lot of conventions. You know, we're probably buying books because we're going to be at conventions. And it's important to know also, if you're buying books from your publisher at cost and selling them, those books do not count as sales to the publisher.
Correct. Yeah.
You can sell it because they're not making any money off of it. So it doesn't count. So even if I go and sell 100, that 100 does not count toward what the publisher sold.
And the method and the term to use for that is called hand selling, because you're literally handing a book to a person. And the majority of my sales, 75% of them, come from hand sales at conventions. And that's where you have the booth and a reader walks by and you say, hey, what do you like to read? And unless you're one of the big five and the mid to top list of the big five, that's probably how you're going to sell the majority of your books, is hand selling, or through someone that you meet and then they go and buy them in the next week or so after the convention or after the writers conference or after the speech that you gave at the library. They're going to go to your website and look at your stuff. So those hand sales, unless you're one of the big guys, that's probably going to be how you sell most of what you sell.
Hey, this is Ralph. Don't forget that Virtual Monsterama 2020 is supporting the MPTF, the Motion Picture and Television Fund, which provides temporary financial assistance for needs created or complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic. To learn more, go to mptf.com.